Good morning once more. If you're just joining us, this is GBS Morning Extra. My name is Tom Mwema, and I'm not alone. I'm joined in the studio by, we are still moving on to our discussion with Rocky Nokod, the Deputy Secretary General, MDF, and Hudson Amenya, a political, you call yourself analyst or enthusiast?
I'm an enthusiast. I'm not an analyst.
Okay, that is so good of you. Thank you so much, other gentlemen, for being with us. Remember, you can also join the conversation, hashtag GBS Morning Extra. That's on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And of course, 21144, our SMS line is still on. I'll be sampling some of your comments as we continue the show. But now, there's an InfoTrack report, survey report that was released yesterday, indicating that 48% of Kenyans think that Uhuru presidency, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, the president, and the deputy president, Dr. William Ruto, are taking Kenya in the wrong direction. And another 58% of Kenyans think that the budget, they are not satisfied with what the budget has allocated, and they feel that the budget did not consider the real issues affecting them. And gentlemen, I'll start with you, Rocky. First of all, do you agree with this survey?
150%. 150%. I agree with the survey because it is the role of any government to inspire confidence in the citizens. But if you reach a position whereby almost half of the population is not confident in the budget, and almost 58% of Kenyans claiming that they are not satisfied with the budget, then it raises eyebrows, because who is the government working for if not the citizens? And if the citizens are not comfortable with the government, then they have reasons as to why they are not comfortable. For example, you walk in any street here in Nairobi, 10 out of 11 people you'll meet are unemployed. That's the truth. And I'm very sure those are the people who are considered when taking or carrying out these surveys, because those are the people they actually encounter and ask these questions. How do you expect such a person to say that the government is working when he has, for example, graduated in 2010 and is still tamaki? How do you expect such a person to say that he is confident with the budget when just Friday last week the Bureau of Statistics said that our inflation rate is at 5.7 from 5.3? When the prices of basic commodities like flour, unga, sugar have skyrocketed. You know, it beats logic for anybody to say that we are doing well today when our deficit is at, our deficit in the budget as read by Henry Otij was at 607.8 billion shillings. We are not doing well. We are not. And that survey is actually reflective of the views of the general public. Yeah, I feel like I support that.
So you think the citizens are already frustrated, even before the budget year, the financial year starts this month?
They are frustrated, and in fact, if the president does not come up with drastic measures to arrest the frustration, we have seen people committing suicide in this country. Here in Yandarua, almost 30-something people committing suicide. We saw the other youth who was taking himself a video and saying that life is just unbearable for him, and he was drugs. He poisoned himself, claiming that he cannot just bear with the situation. Millions of Kenyans. You know, these are not the days of J.M. Kariuki. Kenya is a country of 10 millionaires vis-a-vis 10 million beggars. We have grown exponentially. We are almost 55 million. And if that gap, I'm very sure the gap has doubled. Millions of Kenyans are unemployed. Millions of them are, the only job they have is to look for a job. That is the job Kenyans have. Number two. Number three, if we don't arrest the question of corruption in this country, because that one is the elephant in the house, the NYS scandals, the Eurobonds. Even in the 80s, we have had the Grand Regency scandals. If we don't arrest the mega scandals in this country, then I feel like Kenyans will even be more dissatisfied with the system.
Okay, Hudson, What do you feel of this report?
I also stand in the 58%. I am part of the 58%, even though they did not conduct the survey on me.
They don't ask you.
Yeah, but I feel like I belong in the
that 58%.
That 58%. This is the reason. You should see the numbers of young Kenyans who have not even filed their taxes to KRA. It is worrying. It tells you that young people have given up on this country. And when you see a report saying that 58%, what was the percentage of people who are saying that the Uhuru is taking 48%?
Yeah.
You have close to half of the country dissatisfied with the leadership of the president. It tells you that we need a revolution in this country. Not a radical revolution per se, but we need to change our mindset on the kind of leaders that we have. And the leaders must also understand that they are in those positions not in their individual capacity, but by the social contract that binds them with the people. Okay? So that is the reason why the leaders are elected. And if they fail to deliver, you will still realize the percentages of these kinds of 48% of the whole population, over 50 million, saying that they are dissatisfied in how the affairs of the country is being run. The rate of unemployment has really gone high.
Yeah.
As he said, millions of Kenyans are jobless. They lack opportunities in both the private sector and even the informal sector.
Yeah.
So, what we are saying is that the president and his government has not given enough opportunities to young people, even given his promise earlier on that they want to create 1 million jobs per year.
Sure.
I think it's something that was watered down.
There's also a report released by the state of spokesperson that Kanzalena. So say that last year alone the government has created around 800,000 jobs.
The question is, where are they, and who are
who got those jobs?
Yeah. I was seeing a video running yesterday on social media purporting to have very many young people applying for a waitress job
at Eka Hotel in Mombasa Road.
Mombasa. I don't know if that was true.
It was true. I confirm. They needed 5, but actually 2,000 plus.
2,000 people applying for a single waitress. It tells you how unfortunate the situation has become. And Kenyans are very desperate for opportunities. Look at how we are dealing with our local farms. Young people do not have opportunities to start their own businesses. If anything, there are so many blockages. You have to pay, I don't know how many steps you are paying this for licensing, you are paying this for approving your business, you are paying so by the time your business starts, you have spent over 100,000, which you would have spent, which would have otherwise been used as your capital to start that business. So I think young people have not been given the opportunity. Look at how we are doing in terms of our industries. It's very, very worrying. The rate of the prices of commodities is really going high. The exorbitant unga, as he said, is now moving to 120 something.
Now the question is, just the other day, farmers in the Valley were crying they don't have market for their maize.
Yes.
And now, barely 3 months down the line, now the manufacturers are saying they don't have maize. That's why the flour prices are going up. So clearly, there's something not adding up.
No, you realize that the country has had a lot of issues with the NCPB, and of course the opening of the importation window. And as a country, I do not think, my friend, that we do not have the capacity to produce as much unga, as much maize to feed this population, even with a surplus. We have that capacity to feed even this region. Okay.
The question begs, because one time farmers are harvesting. The farmers themselves were claiming they have a lot in their stores.
Yeah.
But right now, we are now eyeing another shortage. So now, where is the link between the two narratives? Because the farmers have the maize, yes, but the government and the manufacturers claim that the maize is not enough. Yet there's someone, maybe in Rift Valley, who has hundreds of bags in his store.
You know, the Kenyan producer is under threat of unfair competition. And I trace the structural cause of this. I can trace it back to the 80s, 1980s, during, if you read history, the World Bank and IMF came up with structural adjustment programs, and member states of the UN, or the World Bank or IMF, were to sign to accept the subs. And I feel that's where the rain started beating us as a country, because when you have a country that advocates for market forces to sort out their issues, and there is no government intervention into the market, then you are actually talking about a situation whereby the local producer is under threat of unfair competition. And I feel like the country, the only way we can salvage the situation is when the government can intervene in the market and guide the economy of the country, or the political economy of the country. And that one can work if and only if we give priority to the local producer over the foreign producer.
So we also need Unga Regulatory Commission.
Is
that what you're trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is this. You know, the other day I saw the Honorable Jaguar being arrested for saying he was talking for Kenyans. It got me surprised because it actually did not resonate well with a section of people who feel like they are under threat of foreign invasion from other countries, from other traders. Yeah? So I feel like the only way the government can go about this is putting austerity measures to actually enable the local produce. You know, we should not be talking about consumption as a country. We must actually inspire production.
True.
The only way a government grows, or even any country develops.
And not just
look at
maximum
Singapore.
production.
Yes, look at Singapore. Look at any country that, even Libya, before the demise of Gaddafi, it was producing oil, and it actually pegged its economy on oil. Look at United Arab Emirates. Look at even Iran. Their economy is based on a single source of income, yes, but they maximize that income for the general benefit of the entire country. And they regulate. They put measures to make sure that they don't get any unfair competition from other countries that produce the same thing. So, as a country, when we import maize, surely from Mexico, when we import sugar from Uganda, what are we telling Kenyans when we have people who are producing the same?
That we are unable to
surely
But the question
is
also being that it seems that the cost of production in Kenya is very high.
Yeah.
It's very high.
Because there's no way a sugar can come all the way from Brazil, it reaches here, then a kg goes for around 60 shillings. Then another one from Mumias here, comes here, a kg is 100
Very
plus.
high.
Whose problem is that? The government's problem. Yes, the government's problem. Okay, ask yourself why sugar in Tanzania costs cheaper, or the production cost in Tanzania or Uganda is cheaper than Kenya. Are we angels? What is happening in our country that we cannot be at the same level with Uganda or Tanzania? That one, the backstops are the government. It must put in place measures to protect the producer, to make sure that the production cost is cheaper. And how do you do that? Number one, reducing the interest rates maybe on loans, maybe giving incentives to farmers, ensuring that these farmers maybe have cheap fertilizer all over. You know, that's the only way you can actually inspire production at a maximum level. And I believe that
also
this country can work.
Reviewing the law on importation.
Yeah, sure.
So that, you know, for sugar, for example, this country can produce 900,000 metric tons of, you know, we can produce less than 500,000 metric tons right now. But we have the capacity to produce over 900,000 metric tons. So what that tells you is that the farmer has not been, you know, given that ability, given that capacity. And who does that? The government.
The government.
Okay. Okay, let's read some of the comments we are getting from viewers. We have Linda Wanyaga from Ruiru. You say the problem in this country is the leadership. We know the leaders are not capable of helping us, but by the end of the day, we still elect them. We hear what people are saying. We have also Kevin Muchuri from Bungoma. You say the only challenge, our only problem, we should blame the leaders and ourselves, because we are the ones who elect them, yet we know very well they don't care. And of course, we have Laura Kamla. Yeah, you say where she is, but she says, I agree with Rock in the matters of education. We need to be very careful when examining our children, especially when giving pressure to young children in grade 3 education.
Absolutely.
It's too early for that. And then we also have Gloria Geresa from Thika. She's also saying it's really hard to believe that the leaders who promised us 1.2 jobs per year, they are now running in circles and subjecting us to kizungu mingi.
It's very unfortunate.
And of course, unfortunately, we are run out of time. So maybe if I've not read your comment, maybe tomorrow is another day. Just keep tweeting and keep sending your SMSs at 21144. And gentlemen, asante sana kwa kuja.
I think we need to give our parting shots.
Okay. 5 seconds only.
It's okay. The report, the InfoTrack report also indicated that Jubilee Party is 40% popular than ODM's 20% and Wipers 3%, and the other percentage is shared among the other parties. What I'm wondering is that Jubilee is, of course, it deserves to be the most popular, given that it's in parliament. It has majority in parliament. It has the president and the deputy president. Okay. But it also is a form of coalition of about 14 parties. So if we share that popularity within, you realize Jubilee is a single person.
That's your opinion. The director is really screaming on my head. Okay. So maybe you are good?
Yeah, maybe to just tell Kenyans that if the country can concentrate on the big four agenda, the manufacturing, especially manufacturing food and
food security.
That one will actually help Kenya a great deal.
Thank you so much, Rocky Okoth, for joining us this morning, Deputy Secretary General MDF, and political enthusiast, Hudson Amenya. Asante sana. And also, that's what we call a wrap at GBS Morning Extra, but we have sports coming up with my friend Kevin Nyariki giving us updates, and of course, it's not good news for Kenya's national team, Harambee Stars. Of course, he'll tell you what happened yesterday. I don't want to mention that. For now, have a good day.